Welcome to Infinity News. Hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and maybe drop a comment down below. Great to have you with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into something, well, pretty wild and honestly kind of scary that happened on a baseball field.
Yeah, this was just before the Marlins and Rays game on Saturday. A moment that really made everyone stop.
It really did.
Yeah.
We've got the details here, and we want to unpack what happened and, what it might signal about the team right now, especially looking at their pitching.
Right. So let's set the scene. It's basically moments before the first pitch.
Yeah, the Marlins are finishing up their warm-ups out on the field.
You've got Ryan Weathers, the pitcher. He's 25 on the mound. He's throwing his last few warm-up pitches for the inning.
And behind the plate, catching him, is Nick Fortes, who's 28. Standard stuff, right?
Totally standard. And part of that standard routine is, the catcher makes a throw down to second base after catching a pitch.
Just keeping the arm loose, practicing the throw in case of a steal. They do it constantly.
Countless times. Never think twice about it, usually.
But this one went wrong. Badly wrong.
Yeah. Fortes unleashed the throw to second, but it wasn't on target. It sailed.
And hit Ryan Weathers, the pitcher.
Directly in the head.
Yeah,
the impact was immediate. You saw Weathers just collapse straight down onto the mound.
And Fortes.
You could see him behind the plate, just looked absolutely mortified, shocked, knew instantly it was bad. It was definitely tough to watch.
I bet the whole game just stops, right?
Instantly, everything paused. Medical staff rushed out there, trainers, everyone converging on the mound.
And Weathers is still down at this point.
Yeah, he was on the ground for a moment or two, felt longer probably if you were there. A really tense situation. Player safety always comes to mind in moments like that.
For sure. So what happened next? How did he seem?
Well, this is the kind of remarkable part. After a bit, with the medical team around him, he actually managed to get up.
He got up under his own power.
Yeah, stood up, was seen walking around the infield a bit. I mean, huge relief for everyone, obviously.
Definitely encouraging after seeing him go down like that.
Yeah.
A really scary hit. But, okay, here's the twist that makes you go, wait, what?
Right.
Despite taking a baseball square off the head, Ryan Weathers stayed in the game.
He stayed in. Didn't come out.
That seems surprising.
It really does, especially now, with all the focus on head injuries, concussion.
Right, protocols and everything.
For a player to take that direct kind of impact right to the head and stay in, it's notable. You have to assume the medical team did a quick check. Maybe he felt okay.
Maybe. But still, just visually, seeing that impact, the decision feels unexpected.
Very unexpected. And he pitched, too.
Not just for, one batter either.
No, he went 3 full innings after that happened.
Wow. 3 innings. How we do?
The stats show he gave up 3 earned runs, had 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
Okay. And the Marlins actually won the game, right? High-scoring one.
They did, 11-10. So the game went on, and Weathers was a part of it for a good chunk after that really scary start.
It just raises questions, doesn't it? About, the evaluation right there on the field.
Yeah.
Maybe the player wanting to push through.
Absolutely. That kind of grit is often praised, but you also think about the potential risks. Taking a shot like that in pitching, it says something about his toughness, maybe, but also the pressures in pro sports.
Definitely. Now let's add some context about Weathers before this incident.
Yeah.
Because he was actually pitching pretty well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he'd been having a solid start to the season. The numbers we have show through his first 4 starts, something like 21 2/3 innings, a 2.49 ERA, 22 strikeouts. Pretty good numbers.
So he's been important for them.
Very important. Described as a reliable arm, especially because the rest of their starting rotation has been called spotty.
Right. So losing him would hurt. He's a key guy right now.
Definitely. And just a quick note on Fortes, the catcher, tough moment for him, obviously, with the throw. But he actually had a decent game at the plate, went 2 for 4, scored twice.
Okay, but let's widen the lens a bit, because this Weathers situation isn't the only pitching story with the Marlins right now. There's also their ace.
Ah, yes, Sandy Alcantara.
The former Cy Young winner. 2-time All-Star, the guy they rely on to lead that staff.
But this season, well, it hasn't been that guy.
Not even close. The numbers are kind of startling.
Yeah, difficult doesn't really cover it. We're looking at a 7.89 ERA.
Oof.
And he's given up the most earned runs in the league. 50 earned runs through 12 starts in 2025.
That's shocking for a pitcher of his caliber. A huge, huge drop-off.
It really is. But interestingly, the manager, Clayton McCullough, he's standing by him. Publicly, very firmly.
Not giving up on his ace.
Not at all. He talked about it recently. It was pretty direct. He actually said something like, I'm going to keep saying with Sandy, it's coming.
It's coming. Okay. Did he say what is coming or why it's taking so long?
He pointed to command and execution. Basically, Sandy isn't hitting his spots like he used to.
Okay. Makes sense with those numbers.
And McCullough framed it as, natural and normal after an injury. It sounds like Alcantara's working back from something, and finding that pinpoint control is the challenge.
So, post-injury recovery affecting his command.
That seems to be the explanation. McCullough stressed, it's a time thing, it's gonna come. He even mentioned that command and location are often the last thing to come back.
But he ended with that same phrase again.
Yep. Reiterated, but it's coming.
That's a manager showing a lot of faith, or maybe signaling they need him to find it.
Yeah, that's significant public backing when a star is struggling that badly. Suggests they believe the underlying talent, the stuff, is still there.
Right. It's just about getting that feel back, that precision, which is, a different challenge than an acute injury like the one Weathers dealt with.
Okay, so let's kind of connect these dots. You've got these two really different situations happening at the same time in the same rotation. Exactly. On one side, Ryan Weathers, young, reliable pitcher, takes this really scary, visible hit to the head.
And stays in the game. Pitches 3 innings.
And on the other side, you have the established ace, Alcantara, who's struggling mightily with performance, specifically command, seemingly linked to coming back from an injury.
And the manager's publicly saying, essentially, be patient. It takes time. He'll get there.
So what does that juxtaposition tell you about this team, maybe about baseball right now?
It feels like you see the immediate risk assessment with Weathers, the decision to let him continue after a head impact, which feels, questionable from the outside, maybe.
Or at least highlights the pressures involved, right? The tough it out mentality versus modern safety awareness.
Yeah, and then you contrast that with the long-term patience being shown for Alcantara's performance slump, framed as injury recovery.
It's like different kinds of adversity being handled in very different ways. One is an acute, sudden physical event. The other is prolonged struggle with mechanics or feel.
It shows the complexity, doesn't it? Making snap judgments on health versus managing a star's extended rough patch. The human side, the strategic side.
Yeah, the immediate visible danger versus the maybe less visible but still significant challenge of getting a key player back to form.
Which leads us to something we want you, the listener, to think about.
Okay.
When you consider that Ryan Weathers got hit in the head, got immediate medical attention, but then stayed in to pitch, and you pair that with his manager's very patient, very public stance on Sandy Alcantara needing time to regain command post-injury. What does putting those two situations together make you think about? Player safety, the pressures to perform, and maybe the different ways injuries and slumps are handled in professional baseball today.
It's definitely food for thought. How do teams weigh immediate risk against long-term recovery and performance needs?
Exactly. A lot packed into those two storylines.
For sure.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks so much for tuning in to Infinity News. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Thanks, everyone.